Before cities, before writing, before fire was tamed, humans were already digging. But when did it actually begin? When did the first hand reach into soil with purpose? The answer takes us back further than you'd ever imagine. Millions of years before the pyramids rose from sand, long before Stonehenge, before villages, before language itself, somewhere in ancient Africa, a creature bent down to the earth. It wasn't fully human yet, not as we know it, but it had hands, curiosity, and hunger. And hunger, it turns out, is a powerful teacher. Scientists believe digging may be older than tool-making itself, older than fire, older than spoken word, because before humans built anything, they had to survive. And survival meant finding food hidden beneath the ground. Roots, tubers, insects, water, all buried just out of reach. So early hominins learned to break the surface open, not with shovels, but with something far more primitive. Sticks, sharpened sticks, hardened by fire, became humanity's first tool. Archaeologists have found evidence of these tools in Africa. Some digging sticks date back over 2 million years. 2 million years of humans reaching into the earth. Let that number sink in for a moment. That's before Homo sapiens even existed. Our ancestors were digging before we were fully us. So the real question isn't just when, it's who started this ancient habit first. Meet Homo habilis, the so-called handyman. Fossils suggest this species used tools nearly 2.5 million years ago. Not for shelter, not for burial, but simply to eat. Digging for tubers meant digging for survival itself. In dry seasons, buried roots were a lifeline. While fruit vanished, the ground still offered food. This gave early humans a massive evolutionary advantage. Digging wasn't just a skill, it was a strategy that helped our ancestors outlast extinction. But early digging wasn't only about hunger, it was also about shelter. Caves alone weren't always enough protection. Early humans began digging shallow pits for safety. Some pits stored food, others hid families from predators at night. This marks a turning point in human history. Digging became more than survival. It became strategy and planning. Planning means thinking about tomorrow, not just today. And that changes everything about our species, because minds that plan ahead build futures. Fast forward hundreds of thousands of years. Homo erectus appeared, taller, smarter, more advanced. Their tools became sharper, more deliberate, more refined. Digging sticks evolved alongside changing survival needs. Evidence found in Africa and Asia supports this shift. Around this time, something else changes too. Humans start digging not just for food, but for control. Control over water sources, control over where they lived. Early humans began digging small water holes near dry riverbeds. This gave them access even in harsh droughts. Water meant survival, and survival meant expansion. Groups that could dig for water traveled further. They spread across new lands, new climates, new challenges. Digging wasn't just a tool for living anymore, it became a tool for migration. Now let's jump ahead again, tens of thousands of years. Modern humans, Homo sapiens, enter the picture. Our brains were now capable of deeper, abstract thought. And with that came a shocking new use for digging: burial. The earliest deliberate burials date back around 100,000 years. Some earlier evidence suggests even older ritual behavior. Humans began digging graves for their dead, not just to remove bodies, but to honor them. This is one of the most profound shifts in history. Digging now touched something deeply emotional, something spiritual. Graves have been found with tools, flowers, and ochre. This suggests early humans believed in something beyond death. A digging hole became a doorway to meaning that still echoes in cultures today. But digging didn't stop evolving. As humans settled into semi-permanent camps, new needs arose. Storage pits began appearing near ancient settlements. Grains, nuts, and preserved meat needed protection. Underground storage kept food safe from animals and weather. This was an early form of food security, and food security changes how societies grow. Groups that could store food could survive longer winters. Longer winters meant more time to think, create, and build. Which brings us to a massive turning point: the agricultural revolution. Around 12,000 years ago, everything shifts dramatically. Humans stop only foraging and start farming. And farming requires one thing above all else: digging. Digging to plant seeds, digging to till soil, digging to build irrigation channels. In places like Mesopotamia, this transformation exploded. The Fertile Crescent earned its name for a reason. Rivers like the Tigris and Euphrates enabled early irrigation. Farmers dug canals to control water flow. This was humanity's first major engineering achievement. Digging had evolved from survival to civilization building. With farming came permanent settlements, and permanent settlements needed permanent digging tools. Enter the hoe, a groundbreaking invention, literally. Made from wood, bone, or stone, it improved efficiency. Digging became faster, deeper, and more controlled. Villages grew into towns. Towns grew into early cities. Every step relied on humans breaking ground. But digging wasn't just shaping fields anymore. It was shaping power. Around 6,000 years ago, mining begins. Humans start digging not just for food, but for materials. Flint, copper, and later, gold. Ancient miners dug deep shafts into hillsides. Some of these mines still exist today. One of the oldest known mines is in Eswatini, Africa. It dates back over 40,000 years. There, early humans mined red ochre pigment. Ochre was used for art, rituals, and body decoration. This means digging wasn't only practical, it was creative. Humans were digging to express identity and belief. As metal tools emerged, digging became even more powerful. Copper and bronze tools allowed deeper, faster excavation. Mining expanded across Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. Digging economies began to form. Entire communities depended on what was pulled from the ground. This is where digging starts shaping empire. Ancient Egypt dug canals to control the Nile's floods. This allowed predictable harvests and population growth. Egyptian workers also dug massive tombs into rock. The Valley of the Kings became an underground legacy. Digging preserved pharaohs for thousands of years. In Mesopotamia, ziggurats required massive earth excavation. Foundations had to be dug deep and precise. In China, ancient wells date back thousands of years. Some early Chinese wells reached depths of 40 meters. This level of engineering seems impossible for its time, yet humans achieved it through pure determination. Digging had become a symbol of civilization's ambition. Meanwhile, in the Indus Valley, drainage systems appeared. Underground channels moved waste away from cities. This was sanitation engineering thousands of years ahead of its time. Digging wasn't just about survival anymore, it was about quality of life. Across the ancient world, one pattern becomes clear. Every major civilization dug to grow. Every empire dug to expand. Every culture dug to remember its dead. Digging connects humanity across continents and centuries. But there's a darker side to this story too. As societies grew, so did conflict. Digging became a tool of war. Ancient armies dug trenches for defense. Tunnels were dug beneath city walls during siege. Some ancient tunnels stretched for hundreds of meters. Digging could topple entire kingdoms. This shows how far the simple act had evolved, from tubers to trenches, from roots to empire. Let's pause and reflect on this incredible journey. It started with a hungry hominin and a broken stick. It ended with irrigation systems feeding entire nations. Somewhere in between, humanity itself was shaped by soil. Every hole ever dug tells a story of hunger, a story of survival, a story of belief, a story of ambition. Even today, digging still defines our world. Modern construction, mining, and archaeology all trace back to this. Every subway tunnel echoes that first digging stick. Every well pump traces back to ancient water. Every farm field echoes early irrigation ditches. We rarely think about where this habit began, but now you know it began in dry African soil, millions of years ago. A creature searching for food found more than survival. It found a path toward becoming human. Digging didn't just feed our ancestors, it taught them patience. It taught them planning. It taught them cooperation. Because early digging often required teamwork. Groups that dug together survived together. This may be one of humanity's earliest social bond. Long before language, before writing, before art, there was digging. It shaped our body, strengthening hands and shoulders over time. It shaped our brains, encouraging planning and foresight. It shaped our society, creating shared purpose and labor. So when someone asks, when did humans start digging? The honest answer is almost unbelievable. Before we were even human, before Homo sapiens walked the earth, digging came first. Humanity came after. Perhaps we didn't just dig the earth to survive. Perhaps digging helped shape who we became. Every civilization we admire began with dirt beneath fingernails. Every empire's story starts underground, not above it. So next time you see a simple hole in the ground, remember what it truly represents. Not just soil removed, but millions of years of human evolution. A story written not in books, but in buried earth. And maybe that's the most human thing of all. Because to dig is to hope for something better beneath the surface. And humanity has been chasing that hope since the very beginning.